What's up, guys? Today I want to talk a little bit about why and how you should love certain people from a distance. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, what does that even mean? Well, I want to get a little bit into why you should be doing it in the first place, and then I'll explain a little bit more on what it actually means to love someone from a distance and how you can do that. So the first thing you want to do is really think about the difference between your oldest friends and your closest friends. A lot of the time, just because you've known someone longer doesn't necessarily mean that they're more of a friend or a better friend than someone you've known for a shorter amount of time. Not saying that this is always the case. There's plenty of friendships that are years and years and years long and last forever. I have some of those myself, so I know that some of your oldest friends can be your closest friends, but I really don't want you to feel like just because you've known someone for X amount of years means that that's someone that you should continue to allow in your life even when it's toxic for you. So I'm just gonna share a general example of someone that you should love from a distance. The thing about knowing people for so long is that everyone changes as you grow older. I mean, everyone should change at least, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm happy that I'm not the same person that I was in high school because it was, I don't know, 10 years ago. Oh my God. I graduated high school 10 years ago. I remember just graduating high school and people saying, oh, I graduated high school 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. And I would just be like, oh my God, you're so old. And now I'm one of those old people. But anyways, I digress. So just think about the person that you were in high school or the person that you were in middle school. You aren't that person now. Okay, Siri, why are you listening? So it's very understandable that you would outgrow some of those people that you were friends with back when you were younger, before you changed and hopefully matured and became the person that you are today, right? So you may have had a best friend, and at that time, that was the closest person to you. You guys had everything in common. You did everything together. You shared all your secrets, and you were probably very similar in what you like to do, maybe even personality traits. You have probably been through a lot together and have done a lot for each other. And you think to yourself, well, of course this is gonna be my best friend forever and nobody could ever take their place, because at that moment, that's how you felt and that's what you truly believed. And in that moment, that is the time where the friendship worked. So let's fast forward a few years. Both of you have grown and both of you have changed in your own ways. The reality is, in any relationship, that some people grow together and some people grow apart. It's just the way that it is. So let's say, for the sake of this example, you have grown, you've matured. A lot of things that you used to like to do back then, maybe you don't like to do now, probably a lot of the immature things. You have different priorities, you have different goals. You're just at a completely different place in your life. And let's say that person that was a close friend of yours or your best friend hasn't changed in the same way. Both people have grown, but maybe that person hasn't outgrown the same things that you've outgrown. And the example that comes to my mind is remaining in bad, toxic relationships with other people. You may be thinking in your head, well, if my friend or my best friend chooses to be in these toxic relationships with other people, what does that have to do with their relationship with me? Well, a lot, and I will tell you why. I strongly believe whatever energy you put out is the energy you get back, and whatever you surround yourself with will eventually consume you. So let's say you have that friend that you've known forever, and you've grown out of making certain decisions and they haven't. Because you care so much about that other person, there's no way that what they go through will not affect you. And I'm not saying abandon your friend or don't be there for them, or just because they're going through something that means you shouldn't be their friend anymore. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you should not let the decisions of other people that are 1000% in their control negatively affect your life and bring you down, because that's not fair. So let's say that friend of yours is still making bad decisions, whether it's decisions that keep them from finding a stable job, or decisions that prevent them from taking care of their children properly, or decisions that put them in bad situations with intimate relationships or maybe even abusive situations. Basically, that person is making decisions in their own life that are only negatively affecting them, but negatively affecting the people around them because they care about them so much. And I'm not talking about people that want to change their situations. I'm not talking about people that are reaching out for help. I'm talking about somebody that make decisions and act upon things that you don't agree with because it negatively impacts them in some way. I'll explain to you what that actually means and how you should go about it. So to me, loving someone from a distance does not mean that you are not their friend anymore, does not mean that you're abandoning them, and it doesn't mean that you're not there for them. Loving someone from a distance means that you're not going to allow decisions that they make bring you down, and you're also not going to enable them to continue to exhibit negative behavior. And I understand that people are grown and they can do what they want, but if you really love and care about someone, you're not just gonna sit by and watch them do things that damage their life or negatively affect their kids or their family members or ruin their relationship with their spouse or any of those other bad decisions and actions that we make as humans that we later realize aren't that great. You're also not gonna sit there and watch someone that you love kill themselves because, oh, they're grown, and if they struggle with a substance abuse problem, you know, that's on them. There's nothing that you can do about it. To me, that's not being a good friend. That's not being a good family member. So if that's the way that you feel about someone, in my opinion, it's really not someone that you care about that much. I would never be able to sit on the sideline and watch someone that I love just completely destroy their life. On the other side of that, you can't let their decisions and their actions consume you. And that is why you should love them from a distance, because you're not going to be able to help them if you don't. And remember, the people that I'm talking about don't want your help. They are completely content with the decisions that they're making for now, because everybody can change and hindsight's 2020, but right now they have no plan on changing the way that they do things or the decisions that they make that are negatively affecting them. So now that I talked a little bit about what type of person you should love from a distance and why you should do it, I want to talk about how you can go about doing that. I think the thing that we struggle with the most as, you know, friends, as family members, as parents, as children, as siblings is, you know, I care for this person so much, if I pull back, that'll be me abandoning them. When it's actually quite the contrary. The first thing that you want to do is not get so involved in their life. If you know that your best friend or your family member is going to continue to go back to the abusive boyfriend that they've had for the last 3 years, you can't continue to get upset when they do it. I know it sounds crazy. People can't change other people. The only person that can change you is yourself. Just like the only person that can change your best friend or change your close family member is themselves. So if you're consistently getting too involved and getting upset every time they make the same decision that they've been making for as long as you've known them, that sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Just because you've changed, just because your views on things may be different now, it doesn't make sense to continue to get so emotional about the way that somebody always was. And I know that it's really hard to do, especially when you care so much, but you have to distance yourself. You need to make a change from consistently being involved in their problems to stepping aside, stepping back, checking in with them every now and then, but you can't continue to work yourself up over something that's clearly not changing. And the second thing that you need to do is not enable them. But first off, a one-sided friendship isn't fair to you. So if you're always the one fixing problems, if you're always the one that's there, if you're always the one listening to what they have going on in their life just for them to choose to go back to the same thing right afterwards, it's not fair to you. That's a one-sided friendship. And the other part of that is if you continue to be there and get them out of these situations that they put themselves in, you're enabling them to continue to be comfortable with making those decisions because they know, oh hey, I can just call my best friend, I can just call my cousin, I can just call my sister. And if somebody knows that there is somebody that will always get them out of the negative situations that they put themselves in because decisions that they've made, there's no reason for them to stop doing it. So if your friend calls you every time she gets into an argument with her abusive boyfriend and you come pick her up and then she just goes back to the same place that she was before, who is that really helping? It's unfortunate because on one end, it kind of seems like no matter what you do, you're doing the wrong thing. But if you take a step back, step outside yourself and look at it from an outsider perspective, just take a look at what that person is doing from the outside and take a look at what you're doing from the outside and really ask yourself, should you be doing something different? Because eventually what's going to happen if you continue to do that, if you continue to be there for that person that goes back to that abusive boyfriend, or you continue to give your cousin somewhere to stay every time he loses his job, or you continue to bail someone out of jail every time they make the same bad decision. It doesn't make sense. You're not only enabling them, you will resent them later because of all this time and energy and effort you're putting in and giving this person that A, is not being reciprocated, and B, they're going back to the same situations that you tried to save them from. It's okay to not pick up the phone sometimes. It's okay to not open your door, and it's okay to say no. Sometimes people really need to hit a rock bottom at whatever's going on in their life, and that doesn't mean that they need to take you with them. I feel like as humans with a lack of consequences, we tend not to make changes. So who knows, you loving someone from a distance may be the change that they need to push themselves to do better. So none of this means that you have to get rid of those friendships. It just means that you have to change the role that you play. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Just remember, there's nothing wrong with loving someone from a distance. It's still love. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and please share with anyone that you think would benefit. Also, subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And remember to live life beautiful from the inside out all day, every day, and I will see you on Monday. Mwah. And this hair will probably be gone, so get a good look.